Hello and welcome listeners and some viewers there. Thank you for joining me, Sonia Clark, and here with me today I have Donna Pemberton. Now she is a mindset coach among many other things and she is a hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner, speaker, author, and is even an instructor with infant massage, which is just a little bit unusual there in amongst it all. Donna is an amazing person with lots of different ideas, and currently at the moment she has got an upcoming course which is 8 weeks of webinars. I've just got to put my glasses on. The Power of Money and the Empowerment Principles, which is covering a huge amount of topics and techniques and tips there that she'll be bringing you for business. So whatever stage of business you're at and what types of businesses you're doing. But today we're actually going to talk over a series of 4 interviews that we've decided to bring about. And today we'll be talking about auditing your business. So welcome, Donna.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you for asking me to join you.
Oh, it's wonderful, and thank you for being here, and really have been enjoying our conversations that we've had prior.
Yes.
And we're going to have lots more conversations coming out.
Yes, that's for sure.
So, I'm really thankful that you can be a part of this podcast and to bring your wealth of knowledge to the listeners. And to do a little bit of a deep dive on some of those tips and techniques that you have in and around the 4 major sectors that I spoke about. So today is talking about auditing your business and where are you at. The next interview will be around, okay, so what not to do with your business, and especially in these current stages with being with the coronavirus. The following time that we will talk is going to be around finance, listeners. So, all of these interviews you're really going to want to tune into. And with the finance you're going to be bringing us lots of fabulous tips in and around to help us with finance for our business, and also helping us out with mortgages and tax insurance. And then to round it all up nicely will be around mindset and health, and helping everyone to be fully prepared to really step up and to know what to do in their business and how to pivot. So we have got lots to bring to everyone, or you have, really.
Yes.
I hope everyone's ready for this. Lots and lots of meaty bits in there, and some really eye-opening pieces of information that you've already shared with me prior. So Donna, do you want to just do a little bit of a self-discovery tour of yourself with our listeners? And
yes. I think that's probably because you've listed off what I am, and then we're talking about business. I guess it giving people an idea of why I'm talking in that space. And it's nearly 30 years now of accounting and finance is my history. So from H&R Block to banking, I was a small business specialist for the ANZ. I was an administrator in the building industry. I was in insurance on the road as a rep and a territory manager with accident and disability. I've been an accounts payable and receivable for Knight Frank Price Waterhouse. So, over that 30 years, I've been working in banking and other businesses, as well as sales. I started in retail actually and fell into H&R Block, and then the wheels turned from there. So banking was my second choice in career path. It was hairdresser that I wanted to be. So I didn't get that. But here we are all these years later. So that's where my whole bringing all of that 30 years worth and imparting that onto you in what I'm telling you is not going to be any financial advice. I don't have a license to do that. So just that little disclaimer that anything that I do sort of say to you is going to be general in nature. But yeah, I guess, and being a mindset coach, it's bringing all that together to you with having the right mindset to move forward in this climate that we're in at the moment.
Yeah, it's certainly being in business, whether you're a small business, medium, large, entrepreneur, it's really about knowing how to help yourself at any given moment being in business, because business, we need to be adaptable and flexible. We need to
Yep.
be quite holistic too, because our personal lives and our professional lives just smash together so much.
Yes, they do.
And certainly at the moment, because a lot of us are working from home, and
Yes.
we're being challenged in lots of different ways, uh,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is exciting, and it certainly can be daunting for a lot of people. So
Yeah.
it's really
That's right.
great that you're helping everyone here to sort of look. Let's start at the basics and let's look at the audit of your business. So you've got a couple of main pointers that you talk to me a little bit about what you want to cover in the audit. Um, where would you like to start, Donna?
Well, I guess one thing I'd like to start with is the business owner themselves, and that's the mindset at the moment. So anyone that, I mean, business is anxiety and business seem to go hand in hand. People that never have worked from home before are now working from home, and not everyone's made for it. So I've worked from home for nearly 2 years now, and I feel for people that have worked from home and all of a sudden the families come home because their space is now invaded with
Yeah.
all these people that are not normally there. The other people have come home and they've had to be accountable in that time frame that they've never had to do before. So one thing that owners need to do at the moment is detach themselves from their business enough to breathe. And it's a perfect opportunity at the moment to really take a good look at your own business and how it's been running. What's really making you the money, what's not, where the costs are, I hate to say this, but what staff are really needed going forward. There's a lot of people aren't going to go back to where they were before. Some's are going to have jobs elsewhere. Some are upskilling. They're making online businesses themselves. They're doing the things that they've wanted to do for a long time and never had the guts or time or whatever to do because they're forced into it. So they'll be looking at share trading and all the things that you should be doing too. So, it's all that diversification in business, which each business needs to be diverse, and they really need to be online. So I was on a webinar the other night that said 5 years' time, everybody's going to be online. It's the best time is to get your business online now, because in 5 years' time, there'll be more competition. So, and that's from people that are online all the time. They have their whole business is about webinars. So, they're saying it's the right time now, 5 years, you're done. Well, not you're done, but you just got more competitors. So you need to be the influencer in your business online now.
Yeah.
I remember about 2 years ago hearing them saying that retail shops in 7 years' time will be closed. Like you won't have your retailers anymore. They're talking about business, the dress businesses,
Yeah.
the clothing and all that kind of stuff. And I've already seen a lot of businesses that are texting constantly with their sales and all that kind of thing, which is really a bad thing, training people to look for sales constantly. But when they said 5 years' time your business needed to be online, and 2 years ago I saw this, I thought, there's your 7 years right there. It's as though they knew it was coming.
Yep.
So yeah, I think a lot of people that are stressing need to find their ground zero right now. And that's, if you are finding it very hard to settle yourself down, my advice is to lay on the floor and make the floor your ground zero.
An actual physically lie on the floor.
Physical lie on the floor.
Okay.
Yeah, as your hypnotherapist today, you need to be lying on the floor. Now,
Right.
don't lay, I mean, if you've got physical, inability to do that, lay on the couch. Try not to lay on your bed, because you shouldn't be mixing business with pleasure. It's just lay on the floor or lay on the couch, but look at your ceiling. Just be looking at the ceiling and take a few nice deep breaths in, holding and relaxing, and just take everything down a notch. And then start thinking about your business. It's not to be panicked about. It's going to still be there. It's just going to look different. It's not going to be in the same capacity that it is right now, because people's habits are changing in this time frame. How normal households are looking at where they spend their money, where they waste their money, what they are doing, because they haven't prepared either. So when they come back, businesses, customers are going to be doing different things to what they did before, because all their habits are going to be broken. So now you just need to think outside the square. What about your business can be taken online? What about your business can be taken in a different way? Can you offer webinars and podcasts and all that to have your business out there too, explaining to people about your business? But the hard thing for people is where to start. I think that's the hard part, because it is overwhelming. And if you're not tech savvy, it's a big wide world out there. So yeah, I feel for a lot of people, but I believe you need to start by laying on the floor, and don't put your office in your bedroom. Children's shouldn't study in their bedroom either, because that's creating a bad habit. Your mind doesn't shut down when you have your office or your study in your bedroom. Kitchen table, wherever else, but not the bedroom. So that's my initial advice. So you need to think about, while you're lying on the floor, are your needs being met? Is your business's needs being met? Are your staff needs being met? And are your customers' needs being met? So breaking it down into those 4 spaces. And then what does the business do? What does it provide? And looking from the customer's perspective of what they need. Because it's going to have to be all about the customer. Everyone's hurting right now. So businesses a lot go into this treadmill, this mouse on the wheel, and they race and race and race and race and race, and then all of a sudden something like this happens and you've gone into a dead stop and a spin. And sometimes businesses forget what their core focus was originally with their business, and it just becomes about money. And a lot of businesses going forward, I don't think the ones that haven't been true to themselves and true to other people are going to find that hard, because the world is finding a big compassionate space right now. So anyone that's not genuine might find it hard going when we come back. Does it fill your boots? Does it fill your own needs? Is your business doing what you want it to do? Is it exciting for you? Is it your passion? Does it need to be changed to make it look like your passion? Now's a great time to look at all of that, to get your business to be how you want it to be. So auditing your business though. So this is kind of, it sounds terrible, because all your staff, well, a lot of businesses have still got staff running, but some businesses won't. The staff are at home. They're either working or they can't do anything from home, like hairdressers and cafes can't make coffee from home. So the staff are sitting at home at the moment. So, and I'm sure there's a lot of other businesses that staff are home and aren't able to work in the business right now. So if you were going to audit your business, you need to break down the individual costs of each staff member versus the product or service. So automatically, most people would think, well, I know what their wages are and I just divide that by how many hours in the week. But if you look at their wages, their super, some business have the workers' compensation, indemnity insurances. Some business have to pay long service leave for their businesses. In the building industry, you generally have long service leave to pay into for businesses. Then you look at the phones, the computers, the chairs and desks, other mobile phones, other office furniture, the cleaning, the stationery, the vehicles, the internet, the clothing, including PPE, the rent, the coffee, the electricity, the reimbursements of parking and petrol, any other equipment, and then dividing that by evenly across all your staff. You're going to work out exactly what your staff really costs versus how much money you're really making off your products. Because we tend to look at the bottom line a lot, but do you need all that staff to do it? Are you just being an employer and creating work for people, or are you actually really making some money? Is that many staff required? Who's top heavy? Like I've worked, I was telling you, Sonia, before we came on, a business that now has been closed down by the ACCC, so I'm going to use them as an example quite a lot. And we'll be talking about that more next call. But they had a lot of top heavy staff that are getting paid over 120,000 that really didn't bring money into the business. And they were paying the other staff that were bringing the money in 50,000. Well, that's a massive gap between who's making the money and who's not. And closing that gap, do you need top heavy staff like that? Do you need so many suits walking around that are getting paid these big dollars that don't actually bring money into the in. Some people their qualifications are required for certain reasons. Depending on your business as well, because I mean, there's only so many businesses that we've worked for that we can relate to, but are some stuff required? And at the end of the day, you're going to look at, can my staff work from home permanently? Now, as I said before, some people can't do that. They're not made for it. Some people need to go to the office and they need a boss there because that's how they function. I saw actually on TV a young girl say that she needs to go to school because she needs to have the person in front of her teaching her, that she can't learn online. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. She's identified that young. Now, I don't even know that she was in high school yet. So same thing with staff. Some staff do not function from home. This is a time frame where they're going to work that out. So do you need the space that you've been using? How much of it is wasted space? Can your staff work from home, in which case they're using their electricity and their phone, which you'll reimburse, of course, if they've got their phones. They've got their own internet already. They've got their own chair and table and all the rest of the things. They've got their own coffee. They're using their own toilet paper with the toilet papers issue. They're using all their own stuff and working from home. And is that more cost effective for you going forward than having them at an office space that costs quite a bit of money? So there's things to that in that degree to look at. And when you're looking at your product, how does it get delivered? Is it a courier? Is it a vehicle? How much petrol does it use? What are the insurances? What are the staff? The costs involved there. You've got rego, maintenance, cost of the vehicle, depreciation, and insurance. Time. How long does it take to do a job? Building a house, how long does it take to build the house? How long are your actual cost of your staff's expenses as well as the cost of the materials? Are you really making the profit that you think you're making at the end of the day, or are you not really adding the fact that you've got these other costs as well? So it's really looking at, obviously a builder can't work from home and build a house. Or can they? Because I've seen lots of buildings arrive by truck these days. Everything's already pre-done and they just, you have your guys on site and put it together and next minute there's a house next door. But people know what their business can and can't do in that space realistically. But having that little audit time to have a look at what your business really does and what your staff are doing and how much it costs you to run your business and whether that's really what you want going forward. This is the time to work those things out.
Absolutely. But most people will know most of for their business as to what can and can't be done. But over the years, the amount of people that I've come across who think that they have to have a team physically around them and have to rent a space, have to to own a building, have to have a desk and all the rest. And I've often said, you don't really need that for your particular business. You don't need that. A lot of your staff can work virtually or that they can come and go. And perhaps you could actually have one of those co-working spaces only for X amount of hours a week if you do need to get together. Or can you meet at a cafe and give those small businesses the money instead of paying it for rent, and you're paying for an area space rather than have an area space out the back towards the cafe and pay it for the food and the water, and then you're leveraging a whole lot more than that, food and coffee really. When and that's something, I suppose, because I came from retail a very long time ago, and when you're looking at it's per square meter is what you're paying rent on. And in retail, it's not just the floor, but it's all the airspace too. That's what you're really leveraging that per square meter. So then taking it into, say, the white collar area is like, there is so much more leverage that a lot of businesses can do. And this right now, this is forcing people to have to really think differently. Pros and cons with everything as far as business. Yes, there'll be, unfortunately, there'll be businesses having to shut down or lose staff. On the same token, if they could also then think, well, hold on, we can repurpose our knowledge and our product, and we can create business in another way. We don't have to always lose our staff either. So you know,
Yes.
it's really about being creative and from through collaborating, through getting together and bouncing ideas with people. That's how, you know, the innovation's going to, you're going to get leverage on that innovation a whole lot more. I'm starting to talk a whole lot more, so I get passionate about it too,
Yes.
you know,
Yes, that's
and
exactly
just
right.
thinking about the different types of businesses, and because we all just want to help each other, really.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get excited about it, rather
Mm,
than being negative, and I'm like looking at, well, what can we do?
that's right.
Mm,
What can you do? Not, you know, it's not all doom and gloom. And that, you know, in a way, it's stopping you to reset as well
yeah,
to what was already inevitable.
yeah,
It's just making you look at it faster,
yeah.
and you may have overlooked it completely.
Mm,
There was a business I was talking to before Christmas in one of the capitals, and I said, "Oh, you don't have an online presence?" And she goes, "We've been here for 30 years." I said, "Well, you've got a lot of competitors." And she went quiet. And I thought about her now with that conversation, because I thought, wow,
yep,
firstly, my thing was that business might have been there for that length of time, but younger people look online and research everything.
yep,
People now are Googling everything.
yep,
So if you don't have a presence online, you are going to miss out.
yep.
And I wonder how much they've scrambled with their business, because social distancing and all that kind of stuff probably wouldn't work for that business to be open.
No, no.
Now, maybe in that 30 years, they're in a financial position that it doesn't matter. But in the case that it does, and I'm sure they're not the only business that's been around that time,
Mm,
then not having that presence, how is that affecting your business?
mm,
You know, and going forward, they're going to need it. They're
mm,
going to need it. And it's about not just having the website, it's about having your pixels and your retagging and all these other words that people are going to go and have their head explode.
yep.
But there's people that can look after that, and it's just a bit of research to get there.
Mm, absolutely.
Yeah,
And look, you know, it's necessity is the mother of invention. And as human beings, we've always been able to do it, and have done
yeah,
it. So when and thinking about that, you know, what served us in the past, and that means even yesterday, doesn't necessarily mean that it's serving us today or
mm,
tomorrow. And I'm always saying that, look, we learn from the lessons of the past, but we can't have any control over it. So there's no point
yeah.
doing things according to the past.
That's right.
We've got
That's
to
right.
do
You've
it
got to make your
according
own
to right
rules.
now. Yeah. And we
Yeah,
create our future. That future is the very next minute or the next day or the next hour or the next week,
yeah,
because we're about to live it. So we need to be
yeah,
top of
yes,
trends, be ahead of the eight ball, not behind the eight ball.
yeah,
And, you know, look at what's happening. Yes, research, but also look at what the mother of necessity and invention is trying to tell us.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I mean, really, at the end of the day, an office is just geography.
Yeah,
You know, whether your office is in a building where people, I mean, some people are going to still need that shop front exposure
yeah,
because their business is going to call for it. But do you need all the other people to go with it in that space, or can you have your exposure in the expensive space and the staff in a cheap space?
mm,
So thinking I live on the Gold Coast, if you need your business to be in surface, can you just have a shop front there, and then all the excess staff, can they be out in the back block somewhere, you know,
yeah,
out in Narang or somewhere else where the rents are probably way cheaper than
yeah,
having your office in surface?
yeah,
So it's looking at, you know, what can I do going forward in case something like this happens again, and learning from now, learning from all the things that are happening now to take forward with it,
yeah.
because we don't know what's ahead of us. We only know what's behind of us. We're behind us. And, you
That's
know, is there too many chiefs and not enough Indians?
right.
Is there too many Indians and not enough chiefs?
Mm, mm.
So,
Well, someone
yeah.
always has to, with human beings, someone always has to be the leader. And I'm always sort of saying
Yes.
that. And it's not always going to be the person who should be the leader is stepping up. So it's about also
Mm,
knowing how to hand over that leadership baton.
yes.
But, you know, it's about, look, let's not sweat the small stuff. Let's not get our knickers in a twist about what has just transpired. Let's try to move forward. And we can use the lessons of, you know, the past. Business, we always have to be flexible and adaptable and
Yeah.
to be able to think on our feet. And
Mm,
if we're not good at that, what are our other resources? Meaning, other people's brain cells that
Yes,
reach out and
exactly.
saying, help, I need to think on my feet and I'm too close to the situation at the moment and I'm not coping.
Yeah. And that's the thing about having a coach too, because a coach isn't emotionally attached to your business. So that's where having a coach with your business gives you that non-attached advice,
Mm,
because some people do get too attached to their business and it's their baby and they don't want to lose it and they don't want to change it and this is how it's always been, and all that kind of stuff, and they can't see that no, you need to let go
mm,
and you need to change things. Get online actually and look at other people's of the same business overseas, and see have a look at what they're doing.
yeah,
Get stacks of ideas from other people that are doing things and see what they're taking to online. If your hairdressers, chemists have got their businesses online, hairdressers can be selling products online as well.
yeah,
Hairdressers can be giving tips and whatnot and how to look after people's hair right now that they can't come to the
that's
salon.
right. Yeah,
And
wealth of knowledge.
keeping people um, in that habit of going back to them.
Yeah,
You've got your database, use it.
yep,
And
absolutely.
database now, if you don't have a database, there's not a lot of business to sell, because that's one of the first things a lot of people look for to buy
Yeah,
is what size is your database.
that's right.
So if your database isn't in an email format of a list, a CRM of some description, then now
Mm.
while you're down, time, get it in there.
It used to
Yeah.
be that the money of a business used to be plant and equipment, and now it's IP, and
Yeah.
therefore part of IP is database.
Yeah.
So it's how people can utilize the various sources of an IP and create products in and around it. So some of those resources are your staff and the information that they have in their head if you
Yes.
haven't actually written out all those processes.
Which needs to be done as well, because those staff leave, all those processes leave with them.
Mm,
So procedure manuals, procedure manuals, procedure manuals. In
mm,
fact, there is an online platform that is like a when forever ago you used to have all these books, all these manuals on the
yes.
shelf, and
Policies and procedures.
yes, and well,
I
there's a
use all
there's
that.
a platform that you can use online, and it escapes me at the moment, but I'll get that for you, Sonia. That is how people can put, so even how to use the coffee machine. Because if someone comes up to you, every new staff member doesn't know how to use the coffee machine, for argument's sake,
Yes.
read the procedure. It's online. That how to do every little step.
Yep.
So if people put rather their downtime now, put their job into that procedure manual,
Yep.
when new staff come and go, you've got how they did what,
Yep.
rather than them leave and you go, I don't know how they did that.
Yep.
Where were they getting that from?
Yep.
How did they put that together?
Yep.
How did they get it online? Where did they get it from online?
Yep.
So yeah, all that type of stuff, that intellectual property needs to be
Big
in
time.
a
Big time. And even
needs to
if
be
you're
backed up.
sorry.
It needs to be backed up, but out of the brain and onto the computer.
It does. It does. I only wish I could, literally do that. Plug it into the
Yes.
brain.
Yeah. Put the
Because a lot of
USB
people,
in.
yeah, wouldn't it be nice? A lot of people say, oh, look, but it's the time that it takes. And I've got lots of secret tricks in and around that of how to do it on the go, on the fly. And that's something I learned from donks ago in a physical way. Now that I'm dealing with business in a different way. It's not physical anymore, and how to go about that. And look, there's lots of beautiful tools out there and software,
Mm,
and to be able to capture it in the moment. And one of those places where you can put it and create your own little intranet is Google sites and stuff like that. So
mm,
that in itself is, and if you can systemate it, that makes the business. And then certainly the part of it with the products that you can create from it. So the value you've touched on, the value and the cost of an employee. And I think another thing you wanted to touch on with that, as far as a Facebook protocol, and because you talked a little bit about being online and getting online. So maybe if you might want to just talk a little bit about how to deliver the online, and then we'll go perhaps into the Facebook protocol around that then.
yeah. So online is big world. Well, World Wide Web, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
it is a big world. And a lot of people, as soon as they hear it, and it's quite overwhelming if they're not already doing it. Um, there is a big coach that says, if you're not tech savvy, you better get there. because
Yeah.
you're going to need to be. It's not going away. So
Yeah.
you need to start to learn. And even if you're not doing it yourself, you're going to have staff that are going to look after that. You still need your fingers on the pulse. You need to know how and what they're doing.
Yeah.
So yes, you need a website. Your website doesn't need to be multifunctional and to rebuild the world. It needs to just give some information, and have every website needs to have a landing page type situation where it collects leads for you. It
Yeah.
needs to have that lead generation tool.
Absolutely.
There's plenty of people putting free webinars out at the moment around lead generation. You just jump on a few of those and listen to what exactly they're talking about and how to do it, and making sure that your website captures people, that it has a tag on it, so that when they leave your website, it keeps bringing your website back up into their face. A lot of you have probably been searching things and then gone off onto something else, and that website that you were looking at half an hour ago keeps popping up on the screen that you've got in front of you now. That's called tagging. That's a way of having your people then come back. And they say 75% of business that you would have lost comes back by doing that tagging.
Mm.
75% turn into a purchase. Now, they're people that you would have lost completely,
Mm. That's
because they've come and then they've gone.
right.
So the website is a big thing. But Facebook advertising, 1.8 million buyers are on Facebook.
Yeah.
1.8 million people are on Facebook. But yes, I was saying to you about some things to watch out for with Facebook at the moment, because you sort of think that we're Facebook's customer, but Facebook don't look at us like that. So Facebook ads have been out for a long time. Originally, you could put a Facebook ad out without really, or rely on just the size of the market out there. But now Facebook want to charge for that.
Mm.
They don't give you from your normal Facebook page, and this is business pages that we're talking about, not your social pages. You can have a non profile if you don't like Facebook. There's a lot of people that aren't on Facebook. You can have just a nothing profile, and then your business profile. And from your nothing profile, you write on your business profile. So that means mum and dad and the cat and the neighbour and everyone's not going to go and want to be social with you, because it's sort of anonymous,
Mm-hmm.
and it's your business profile that shows up. So when I looked after Westpac's social media, we all used a same login. No one knew it was us, other than the fact that we write at the end of it our names. That you've been, so that they know who they've been speaking to by name. There is a face, but nobody had an actual private Facebook page that they logged in with. We were just all given access through an anonymous page. Setting it up properly with your posts, your wording, your banner across the top, your profile logo or photo, depending if you're a sole trader, and the content, the amount of content. There've been big splashes about, you have to put something out there every day, and you have to have all these videos, and people are learning now, well, that's actually not it, because people are switching off. I know I scroll, if faces pop up and start wanting to talk, a lot of the time you don't want to listen. You don't want that noise. You're not in a place where you want the noise, and you're probably not going to find it again. So you can peel yourself right back and just have an information-based page, which basically is a cheap website.
Mm.
You can advertise on Facebook in a way that is not needing a lead page. You're using Facebook to generate the lead using the private message section. So, and it's just all wording. It's all wording. But at the moment, if you're putting Facebook ads out, no mention of the coronavirus, no mention of a pandemic, no mention of COVID-19. Don't mention a crisis, nothing along those lines, because Facebook will not let your post go out. They will, and it's taking them longer to approve ads because their team's at home. All the teams working from home. So when your post gets stopped, to have them turn around and look at it physically, because it's a computer that stops them, because it's picking up on words, to have their staff looking at it physically is taking longer. So your ad will be offline a lot longer than it would have been normally. And if your business is time sensitive with that ad, you might find that the ad's ready after you're finished. So you
Mm.
need to be thinking about and using other words like, I think we said something before, keeping it at the positive. So at this time, during this occasion, changing your wording so that it's completely different and won't get picked up by the ad gremlins that are lurking in Facebook. If you have your Facebook ads switched off too many times, they will shut your page down. They don't care about us. We are not a source of income for them. We are just the collectors of data. Businesses that have had 100, 200,000 people following them, influencers and all the rest, have had their Facebooks shut down and they don't get them back.
Yep.
Facebook, those people following them are already Facebook's people. They've already got Facebook pages. It's not like you're bringing new business to Facebook with your page and with your ad. They're already Facebook users. So Facebook don't care. So you really need to not be blasé and think you know better and stick to Facebook's guidelines, because a lot of businesses are losing what they've spent a lot of time and money putting together in their Facebook pages and ads. So Facebook generates a lot of money. You can generate a lot of money. People are building businesses that are generating $30,000, $100,000 a month using Facebook, just Facebook. So I've talked about Facebook, but you've got your Instagram, which doesn't have the best platform as far as advertising is concerned. You've got your Instagram for your younger people. So your kids are on Instagram, and now there's something else out too. What's this? This other thing that's just come up that
TikTok for the young ones.
TikTok, that's
Yes.
it, TikTok, yeah. So that's your even younger ones again. So it depends on your demographic to which platform you're going to go for as well. And time, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you know your tradies are going to be knocking off. So 4 o'clock is when you start putting your ads. If you put it too early, it'll be pushed down too far by the time you get to it, by the time they're scrolling.
Yep.
So you need to, mums drop off the kids normally at school at 9 o'clock. So not between 9 and 3 is going to be their time to see anything. And then depending on what time they put their kids to sleep, you might not catch them again until 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. So it's getting your ads scheduled to just hit at a time that marries up with the people that are going to be now picking up their phone and going on Facebook and using it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of little bits and pieces, but as I said, there's 1.8 million buyers on there, and you need to have your piece of that pie. Yeah.
I've known quite a few people really not even to have a website, but they'll have the Facebook page,
Yes.
or that they don't have a website, but they have landing pages.
Yes, more than the website.
Yeah, but the Facebook, the business page is where everything sort of funnels into and funnels out of.
Yes.
Landing pages. So
yeah,
it just depends on really what your market, the end user, who your target audience is, and what your products / services really are products to me. It depends there, what you should use and where it's at and what's easy for people, because we've seen things like the messenger and the bots and all those sorts of things being a whole lot more pliable and fluid.
Yes.
But it, when you were talking about shutting down pages and your the what's it called, the messenger, the platform where you do your ads for Facebook.
Oh, Ads Manager.
Yeah, I nearly got mine shut down too.
Oh.
Experimenting. And I wasn't being,
and you probably weren't aware.
Well, I was, and I had gone through the rules, and to me, I could not see what that problem was.
Right.
But when you're looking at that, it's the certain things are programmed into the computers. And it was, I had a piggy bank in a jail, and I was like saying, set your savings free. But and that was the picture, and because it was a pig, and forget about the bank, pig in a jail, no.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, because the whole
need to be so careful.
How, the different cultures could interpret it.
Yes.
So for us, it was like, oh, we get it. But others, so they went, no.
Yes,
and I'm
the
like,
cultural norms.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the type of thing you have to think of, is what your picture is as well, because they don't just stop at Facebook. They go and look at your landing page.
Yeah.
They go and look at your sales pages. So they keep going. Yeah. In fact, you can use Facebook to your advantage, because they will look at your landing page and tell you whether it's any good or not.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Facebook will ring you and go through your ad and go through your landing page and tell you change this, do that, do this. So there, you can use them to your advantage as well. But yeah, if you get caught short with pictures, they will, and to make something look like you are affiliated with something that you're not. So, I mean, it's a brain bender really, because you've got to think of so many things
Yes,
before you can put
absolutely.
that ad out. Like, how can that be misconstrued? How can it be, and I've also learned recently, the more text you put in, which I thought the opposite, the more text in the front of your ads to read, the more likely that they're going to click through. So
that's right. There's
yeah.
there's quite a few things really. And, that'll be really great for our segue into the next time that we speak. You're going to be talking about a whole lot of things, what not to do in business.
Yes. What not to do. Well, what
After
not to do to get yourself closed down by the ACCC. So
I was going to say Facebook for me, but
no. Well, we can talk about Facebook some more as well. I mean, after the call, I'm probably going to think of 1,000 things. But I mean, one thing people need to do is deliver on your promise.
Yep.
Do what you say you're going to do, because it's your credibility at stake too.
Absolutely.
So if you tell somebody that you're going to give everybody on the call a call, give everybody on the call a call. Don't then send them out a form that starts knocking people out of that call, because that's your credibility at stake. And then people, even if you come back and somebody says something to you and you think, oh yeah, I've been a bit overboard here, they probably don't want to talk to you by then, because people are time poor too. So, and the patience span is 7 seconds on Facebook. So probably that all around really, when you think of people's attention span. So
that's a scary thing, isn't it? You've really got to make a strong impression, and it's got to be positive and happy.
Yes.
You can't really ever really air any sort of laundry or be too strong in your opinion, because people can, because of the cultural differences in amongst things, let alone just as human beings from one person to another, we all have different value systems. We do need to be a little bit careful, because business ultimately is all about reputation, and that can be shut down like that
in a flash, especially with social media, because all you need is one disgruntled person to start slandering you online. And even if they're in the wrong, and you get it all shut down, the word's still out there. The words are still there. So, and you don't know how many shares and all the rest it's gone out to try and scrape all that back. So
that's where the conflict resolution skills come into it.
Yes.
And how to deal with that in a social way. Very, very important. Absolutely. So do you think that there's any other sort of tips that you might want to provide listeners there with around any of those sort of three major points that we were talking about: the value and the cost of employees, Facebook protocols, and getting online and how to deliver it? Do you think that there's anything else in that might be of help?
Yeah, look, I think people need to investigate too the value of a webinar. There's a lot of businesses that are going online that put out a webinar first without doing a thing. They've got a business idea, they put it out in a webinar, and if they get sales, then they build it. Rather than the other way around, that traditional build it and then they'll come. No, this is put the face of it out there, put the sales page up, which is traditionally what we've always called a website. Webinars convert at 10%, where websites convert at 1%. So big difference, big difference. And it gives you that platform to turn around and teach people about your business, give them a few things. And then at the end, you've got your sale. You've got your sales line in whatever it is your business is. And then you go and you put yourself out there basically as the expert. If we've got experts that don't have pieces of paper in anything running around online, influencers and all that kind of stuff, that these days young kids have got businesses online before they even leave school. The world was already, the wheels were turning for change. You're not going to have as many plumbers and whatnot out there, people on the tools anymore, which means those people are going to be charging more, because those services are going to become less, the people in those services are going to become less and less. So who would have thought that being a checkout chick right now is going to be the most sought after job on earth?
I know.
But
I've got 3 living under the household here that are
oh, true, good. They can pay for everything.
all at Woolworths. I know we're going to
Ah,
pay. And you know what? Even with the whole toilet paper episode, we couldn't even say, look, store us some just in case, because they couldn't. They couldn't go off and
yes.
they were being abused by customers.
I know, it's been terrible.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it was really very interesting.
Mind you, I was at one of their competitors the other day and I was going through the checkout, and because of the social distancing, she's saying, can you put everything on at that end and sort of collect it off at the other end? And she was keeping a distance. In the end, I may as well have gone through the self-serve,
Yeah.
because I even took my own receipt out, and the security guard, I was close to the door. The security guard, I actually thought I'll go and use the girl to keep, with their job flow and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
She was so interested in the dress with the other 2 staff, the dress they were going to wear to some formal or something or other that they were going to, and all that, that she was totally disregarded the fact that I was there. And I grabbed my receipt and looked at her, and then I rolled my eyes, not realizing the security guard was watching. It's a bit cute too, this security guard was watching me the whole time, and he's just standing there with his arms folded, smirking. And I thought, oh, he probably saw all of that. But
Yeah.
but I sort of thought to myself, wow, there's so many people lined up for your job right now, little girl. You might want to
Yeah,
start rethinking your actions here,
exactly.
because there's cameras everywhere in those places. She would have been being watched. And if he
Absolutely.
spoke up and said something, the girls are all standing here having a good old wag, and, as a joke, oh yeah, and this staff member, she even had to grab her own receipt, and then they have a good look at it.
Yeah.
Staff can ruin your business. My auntie's works in a regional town, and they've just had a staff member that was sending people elsewhere to get what they've got on the shelves, and also telling them how much they pay for it wholesale.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
of course, she's not there anymore.
Look, customer service, because
Yes.
that's your reputation. On the same token, it's also how to look after your staff so that they are
Yes.
advocates.
Yeah.
You really, they are, people who can make or break your business.
Mm.
So it's a very, round and round the mulberry
It's a
bush.
lot of respect. At the end of the day, there's a lot that comes down to just respect.
Yep.
You're respecting these people are bringing and circulating money into your business by their job,
Yep.
and that's why you pay them.
Yep.
To bring, it's all that circulation. It's not being disgruntled about them because you have to pay them each fortnight and making them feel. There's a lot of staff that have anxiety at work that they don't show. Even just to come to work every day, they're already anxious. KPI, there's 3 letters I hate, except that I saw key person of influence. I saw there's a book out, key person of influence. I like that.
Yeah,
The
that's a
KPI can
nice
create a lot of unnecessary stress in a staff member that would have been performing well without it.
Well, it just means that they haven't had really good, great leadership from the
That's
management
right. That's
bosses.
right.
And that just means that's that mentality of the old way, and that's gone. It's gone.
Yes,
And we've had
yes.
really great leaders to be able to demonstrate a really great way of doing it. Look at Branson, look at Google.
Yeah.
It can be done and should be done. And certainly I think that this catalyst of way that we're looking into bringing in empathy at the moment is going to help mold that for a great significant change, which I'm happy about.
Yes.
I'm very passionate about, but I know that a lot of people are going to struggle how to, and
Yes.
all it is about paying it forward. If you're constantly, no matter what's being dished up to you, if you're constantly leading the right way, like attracts like. And if you're not happy, create it. And then keep
It's
paying
time
it
to get
forward.
happy.
Yep, and it'll come to you. It'll come to you. And what will happen is, and we've seen it time and time again, that people will go away from the negative because people want to come to the positive.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, people don't want to be surrounded by negativity, and to shop in a place that's got that big black cloud hanging over it, they soon go somewhere else.
Yeah.
There's a competitor just around the corner.
Yeah, and even in the virtual sense, the wording that you use, the tonality in the how you are presenting yourself in a virtual way, whether it's in a video, whether it's in your website, whether it's in your marketing message, the tonality is so important.
Yeah. And remembering things like coffee, which I mentioned before, I did have a little note under coffee. Coffee is a good mental health break for staff as well.
Yep.
So that ability to stop and go and have a coffee
Yep.
and be made feel as though that's okay,
Yep.
to not feel as though they only have 3 toilet breaks in their 8-hour shift, and
Yep.
most of those have to be done in their break, to be able to feel that they can get up, that they're not going to be jumped on if they're talking to another staff member. It could be business, it could be private too, but
Yep.
mental health of staff is a big thing, and the more angst you give a person, the higher staff turnover you've got, and that's a lot of training and a lot of money that walks in and out of your door. If you've
Absolutely.
got high staff turnover, that's a lot of money that you're churning,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
lots
That
of
can
money.
cripple a business in so many ways.
Absolutely.
And that comes down to one of the things that I've often used in my leadership training programs is the Maslow's hierarchy, and how that translates into creating a really great workspace. So then
Yeah.
you can, when you get to the top one, I can't think of it off the top of my head at the moment, where the self-actualization, there you go, self-actualization, that's on how to then engage EQ, emotional intelligence, from an employee, and how
Yes.
to really be fabulous with
Yeah.
interactions with your products and services. But all
Mm.
of that underneath fundamentals about making sure that staff aren't being overworked, and that they do have
Yeah.
access to be able to go and take a toilet break, and all of
Yeah,
those.
exactly.
When
Just the
I go
little
through it,
things.
yeah, it's
And
then
appreciation at the end of the day. Thanks, you've done a great job, as they're walking out the door. Thank you for today. Even if that's what you say to them every day, what does it matter?
yep.
My ex-husband used to say after every meal, it didn't matter what I made for him, it could have been baked beans on toast. That was the best meal I've ever had.
Aw.
Every day he used to say that to me. That's the best meal, except once when I experimented with Vegemite as a flavour. I remember him saying he didn't like that, but I was like, if you didn't speak up and tell me, I'd make it for you again. So, yeah, but just saying that's the best meal I've ever had.
Yeah,
It didn't matter what it was,
yeah,
and that's something. It's the staff appreciation, and they'll go that extra mile for you. They'll stay back that extra 15, 20 minutes without worrying about it.
they do.
That job that we're going to talk about more next time, that
Yeah,
other company, I was doing 2 hours of unpaid overtime in
yep.
the end, and then my bosses were getting their backsides kicked and decided to put it down the line, and I was like, no, 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 no. And I said, if you're going to go down this path, I warned them. I said, I will give you my resignation,
Mm,
and nothing changed in 4 days, so they got it.
yeah,
And that's how I ended up leaving them. And it was that whole, I'm being kicked, so I'm going to kick you. When
that's right.
realistically, they were being kicked fairly because I'd brought this to their attention, and it had been a discussion around the three of us that many times,
Mm,
and nothing was being done. So,
mm.
you know,
It's the like attracts like again. And I really learned that myself. Early in my piece, we were forced to have to do overtime. But how do you get someone to do it in a willing way? When I
yeah,
had one of my jobs where I had a group of 12 that were volunteers, but worked like a full-on part-time regular job, all voluntary. How do you get people to work and want to work and keep contributing?
yes, yeah.
That's a trick.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're going to get so much further with sugar than shite, isn't that right?
Yes, yes, or
Yes,
more flies with honey than what you do a stick.
yes, yes. And it's little things too, like having, I mean, we probably don't want to give them drinks on a Friday afternoon because of the
No,
whole driving
yeah,
alcohol. But does it matter if they stop half an hour early and there's a cake?
yeah, exactly.
Does
Or
it?
that it comes out of my personal pocket and I pay for something. You know what? That's oh gosh, what's it called now? Where it's reciprocation. It'll come back
Yes.
around one way or another.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Having those going out for dinner as a group, even if people, they have their social club and they go out together in that way, if you pay for them to go out for dinner every 3 months just to say thank you, we've done a good job, have it as a team meeting. Actually, something you're saying before about people finding space to work that and come together to do their collaboration without, having a permanent office. McDonald's have office space that's, I'm pretty sure, is free. I don't even think you have to buy McDonald's, but they obviously expect that people come to McDonald's are going to buy something because most people eat McDonald's.
Yep.
But McDonald's have office space.
That's
They
right.
have
I've
boardrooms.
used them a lot. as office
Yeah.
space.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I've used them a lot as office space in their normal, capacity as their of their shop. But
I've actually done meetings when I know there's a nice one. I've
yes.
done, yeah, 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 and then some other great cafes too. I know
Yeah,
the
I mean,
people.
they're a big chain. So if you didn't want to give the McDonald's
No,
the
other
money,
ones.
there's plenty of
Yeah,
businesses.
yeah,
And hey, businesses that are going to look at auditing their business now and realize they've got a lot of space, think about subletting some of your space out as
absolutely,
office space to other
absolutely.
businesses that need a boardroom.
Some might be a little bit challenged on that, but I think that go and talk to the landlord and negotiate. I've always negotiated my leases in the past when I've actually had physical spaces, and you'd be very surprised what landlords are willing to do.
Mm.
But even so, just try to encourage that. I would still be suggesting that, encourage that of people to come and use it in a sublease way without it having to be a proper sublease. And
Well, even if it's not permanent, if you've got a boardroom that only gets used once a week, that's a lot of space you're paying for that it's only getting used once a week. So if
yeah,
you can have another business or two come and use that space during the week for their 2-hour meeting and then they leave, and in that time, you give them a bit of water, maybe a bit of coffee, and they organise their own sandwiches and whatever else they want to offer
mm,
in that time frame. They might give nothing. They might just be water on the table and that's it. But
mm,
if you're going to have somebody else pay the rent for that space during the week, what a lurk, do it. Do
yeah.
it. Diversify. Everyone has to diversify. It's my favorite word. Diversify.
I
Well,
like
they say 8 streams of 6 streams, 8 streams of business. And that's
it. Yeah,
what people need to look at now
that's
is
right.
how can I make my business bring me multiple streams of income?
That's right.
So, and is it all going to be from the business that I have now? Or am I going to start to look at other ways to diversify outward to
Yeah,
bring income in?
beautiful.
People that never step foot inside your front door be
That's
giving you
right.
money.
Yep.
So, yeah.
People and we've talked quite a lot, and I'm sure we could continue to talk.
I know. We could go on forever, couldn't we? We could do the whole 4 days just in one call, but
I'm
and be
sure.
here forever. But people will fall off their perch.
Yeah, true, true. So we'll probably wrap it up here, and certainly then talk with our next one going into what not to do, and let's look at some of those lessons that and how does that translate into our current situations at the moment for people.
Yes. Yes.
So look, I thank you very, very much for your time today, Donna. It's
Thank you,
been
Sonia.
really wonderful, fabulous pearls of wisdom there, some really great ideas that I think people will
I hope so.
be able to take forward. Yeah. And was there any last minute thing?
Yes. I guess I'm going to do my own plug that I've got that
Oh, yes.
Power of Money and the Empowerment Principle workshop. If anybody wants to do anything with me going forward, that
Yes.
is coming up. It is at powerofmoney.online. If they want to have a look, and then you can sign up from there as well. So it is 8 weeks of webinars. If you missed the webinar because of the time frame, it'll probably be 7 or 8 p.m. at night anyway. You will get a replay. So, and then you'll be in a members portal afterwards for you to log in and look at anything that's on there at any time. It is going to be covering things like tax, finance, administration, roles, insurance, mindset in business, audit, needs analysis, what your business needs and what you need, balancing the mind, body and business, structure, core focus, attachment, superannuation, rules, webinars and joint ventures, passion, abundance, marketing, and probably a whole lot more by the time it's all finished. And then things to implement in your business that you can get online. Some are for free. And then bonuses, I'm also going to have access to my meditations. There's over 40 meditations in my subscription that you'll get for free. And the private Facebook group for everyone to chat and find JV partners and everything else going forward. So
Beautiful. In case anyone doesn't know what JV is, joint venture.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So,
I
get
know, we're
together on
talking.
some little mini projects.
Yes.
Do
Yeah,
something
exactly.
together.
But use other people's knowledge to generate money in some of your streams of income.
Yeah,
We
beautiful.
can't all know everything.
No, no. And, yeah, it can be around more so just collecting and coordinating, getting people together and provide these beautiful resources for
Yes.
people
Yeah.
and end users.
Networking.
So,
The old
network,
fashioned
yes.
network.
And you'll be providing me that URL, so I'll pop that in on the website there for with my podcast there as well. So at
Yes.
soniaclark.com. And
Yeah.
we will see you then next time. I thank you very much. Oh, is there a particular time that program is launched? A particular
We'll
date?
probably launch that at the end of April.
Okay.
Yep. Maybe sooner. But we probably will launch that. Yeah, probably looking in the next couple of weeks, really. I mean, we're already a week in, aren't we? It's already the 7th.
Yeah, we are.
Well,
Quick, skates on.
yes, exactly. So, yeah, it'll probably be launched soon.
Beautiful, lovely.
Yeah.
And we will be having our next chat in a week's time. So
Yes.
tune into that, everyone, and keep an eye out on that for Prosper with Sonia Clark. And I'll be bringing you Donna Pemberton. And thank you very much, Donna, for your time today.
No problem, Sonia. Thank you.
Okay.
And good luck, everyone. Just keep breathing. That's the main thing. Just nice, deep breaths. Just keep
Lie down on
breathing.
the floor, look at the ceiling, and you breathe.
Yes, and breathe.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. Bye-bye.
No problem. Thank you.